How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I want to talk to you today about a Bitcoin mining company that I think is undervalued right now. And I'm going to compare it to a couple other stocks in the space, other Bitcoin miners that are pretty expensive and have been going up a lot. And I want to give you the news that's happening on this stock right now because they're increasing their mining capacity and they're going to become a real revenue generator here soon. So if you guys like this, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. If you guys want, you can hit subscribe, get all the videos. I did a video earlier today on some different stocks I think are kind of inexpensive right now compared to where they've been and some good buying opportunities possibly. So if you want to see videos like that, you can hit subscribe and see all my videos here in the future. There's also a link down there to WeBull. If you want some free stock, you can check out that link. All you have to do is add $100 and you can get some free stock. Now, if you want to hear about this a little bit faster, I did like a short video for my Patreon earlier today. So if you want to hear about this or other stocks I'm looking at earlier or right when I buy a stock before it pops up, you can check out the link down below to Patreon. Also, there is a link down there to BlockFi. If you're interested in BlockFi, I've been moving more money there. You can see that right here. I have a good amount of money. I just wired more money in there the other day. I've put a lot of it into GUSD, which is just a stable coin while I'm looking for a house. It pays me 8.6%. Then there's also a spot for Bitcoin and Ethereum. You get a bonus depending on how much you actually deposit in here originally, up to $250. And you get that nice interest rate. So I'm getting about $35 a day, just under $35 a day in interest on this money. Now, that's in addition to Bitcoin and Ethereum moving up in price, so definitely check that out. I know a couple other big YouTubers that have been talking about this recently. I've been investing in this for a couple of weeks now, actually maybe a couple months now, and I think it's a good place if you want some interest on your cryptocurrency. Now, the company that we're looking at today is CLSK. I've talked about in the past. I have bought shares of this company. I started buying in at 18. We wrote it up, we wrote it down. There was a short seller report that came out about a month ago when it was near all-time highs. It dropped it down. We've had short seller reports on a handful of stocks recently. You can start to see a little bit of an uptrend here though from earlier this week. And this one is an interesting one because it has an asymmetric risk to return right now. And by that I mean Bitcoin has been moving up in price. A lot of these other Bitcoin miners have been moving up in price. Here you can see on the 90-day, I compare MARA, RIOT, GBTC, which is Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which just tracks the cost of Bitcoin, and then CLSK. And this is over the last 90 days. Obviously, Bitcoin has been going up a good amount. You can see here, Bitcoin itself is up 169% over the last 90 days. Take a look though. We have RIOT, which is up 1,200%. We have MARA, which is up 1,500%. And then we have CLSK, which is just up about 185%. But over the last 30 days, let's take a look at it. It's kind of interesting. CLSK is actually down 3%. GBTC is up 37, MARA is up 113, RIOT's up 200. If you look at the last week, it's a similar scenario here. Now, what is happening? Well, this short seller report on CLSK is what's causing the stock to stay down. People are worried. People aren't really buying into it because they don't want exposure to it. However, with any of these short seller reports, there could be some truth in there. There could maybe not be any truth. They could have just shorted the stock and wanted to, cause a massive panic. And they did that. It fell down dramatically. However, they say, CLSK says that these are false accusations against it and its officers. They don't think that they've done anything wrong. And even as time goes on, even if there's risk there, the fact that Bitcoin keeps on going up in price, CLSK is coming out with positive news, the risk is the same, but the reward is getting higher and higher as time goes on, which makes it more and more attractive to me. I mean, when you look at these stocks, which one do you want to buy now? There's some risk with CLSK. Again, just because of the short seller report, but there's a lot more reward there if there isn't any truth to this, or even if there's some truth, but it doesn't really matter over the long term. Now, looking at what they do, first of all, they're a grid company, they're an energy company, but they got into Bitcoin mining because they acquired a data center that mined Bitcoin. Now, they gave this update about a month ago. Over the first 40 days since they acquired the mining company, they had mined 56 Bitcoin. Now, that's about 1.4 Bitcoin a day. this is going to be increased. They said here in an updated report that they think they can increase capacity by 60% before the end of February, which is going to come into effect here in a second. That's going to be really good to know here in a second, because they have a fireside chat that I'll talk about here, and it's just today. So keep that in mind. However, they think that they're going to be able to increase even higher than this. They think that they're going to increase their mining capacity from a couple different reasons. More Bitcoin miners, they expect to have initial power capacity increase over the next 2 quarters. They think they could expect to increase production up to 6 to 9 Bitcoins per day. Let's go back to the last example though. Even if they're just able to increase 60% from 1.4 a day like they expect by the end of February, that's 2.24 Bitcoin a day. Let's just say it's 2 Bitcoin a day. That is $100,000 worth of revenue with Bitcoin just at $50,000. That's $100,000 a day. That's $36.5 million for the year. And we talked about this before. This is something that I expected to happen, because they were expecting, just as of a month or two ago, they were saying, okay, we think that we'll have about $30 million in revenue, 10 million of which from Bitcoin mining, 20 million of which is from their grid business. I said, no way, because they're going to increase capacity. They're going to have, most likely Bitcoin's going to rise in price. And now they're looking at, even if they're just able to do this and not able to increase it at all throughout the rest of the year, they're looking at maybe 36 million from this side of their business, 20 million from the electric grid part of their business. So they're looking at 55 to 60 million in revenue. Again, that's without Bitcoin going up in price, which I think it will significantly. I did a video in the past on my Bitcoin prediction, and I think that could go up to 100K this year. And I know a lot of people that think it could go past that, but that's assuming the same Bitcoin price. That's assuming that from February on that they don't increase capacity at all, that they don't make any improvements, and they're still going to pretty much double the revenue that they were expecting as of a month ago. So I think this could result in a huge increase to their revenue. You can see here they're expecting, if they're able to get up to 6 to 9 Bitcoin a day, maybe 150 million per year in Bitcoin mining revenue. Let's take a look at it just from the perspective of, let's say they get 10 Bitcoin a day at 50,000 per Bitcoin. That's $500,000 in revenue a day. That would be $180 million in revenue. So I don't think this is out of reach if they're able to actually mine this much. Even if they're not, even if by the end of the year they can't do this, they're still going to way beat their revenue. And look at the company. The stock itself is only a $760 million company. So a price to sales ratio of, even let's just say they make $50 or $60 million worth of revenue. That's just a price to sales ratio of 11 to 12. They were at, I believe, $10 million in revenue last year. So they're going to 600% or 6x their revenue this year. So that's going to be really interesting. Again, there's asymmetric risk reward. Of course, you have to do your research. Take a look at the short report, see what they say, determine whether you think it's worth taking the risk. I still own this company. Like I said, they have this fireside chat today. They're going to discuss fiscal quarterly earnings and positive 2021 outlook. So there might not be a lot of time on this before it shoots up. They also launched mVolt, which is a direct-to-consumer grid option, which I won't go into too much, but this is one more way for them to diversify their revenue and their income. They also had a large switch gear order, so $1.5 million worth of this order. So again, this is getting pretty interesting. I think we're going to see some big movements. Of course, there is risk with it, but I really like it. I'm still holding it. I'm not increasing my position because I've been buying more Bitcoin itself in BlockFi. So I don't want to increase my position into crypto more than it is now. It's already about 20 to 25% of my portfolio. It's a little bit high, but I saw an opportunity and it's worked out well so far. So let me know your thoughts on CLSK down below. I think it is a pretty good value with how quickly they're growing and compared to its peers, but I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys. If you want to check out the link down below to BlockFi, again, I feel really comfortable with it, but do your research. If you want a bonus, if you want some interest on your cryptocurrency, definitely check that out. There is a link down there to WeBull in case you want some free stocks, and there's the link down below to Patreon if you want to hear about this stuff earlier. Thank you guys, and if you want to see the 5 other stocks that I thought were at a pretty good value today, you can check out this video here.